We know what you're thinking. Who in their right mind would have a problem with Neil Patrick Harris? But apparently, the answer is plenty of people. However painful it might be, let's take a look at some celebs who seemingly can't abide this apparently not that beloved actor. As detailed in Harris's autobiography, the young actor once got into something of a street fight with Hawaii Five-0 star Scott Caan. In the early 90s, Harris was on a date with Eden Sassoon, daughter of hairstylist and businessman Vidal Sassoon. The next thing he knew, he was face-to-face with Caan, who was ready to treat Harris to a good old-fashioned beatdown. Caan was apparently upset because he'd formerly been romantically attached with Sassoon. In fact, Harris claimed that Caan kept furiously bumping chests with him and then threatened him by barking, "What's up with the West Side, yo?" According to Harris, Caan reckoned that he was in some sort of gang at the time. The two actors then left the club and took their issues outside. It looked like things really were about to come to blows, as Harris admitted to being terrified and confused by the whole surreal situation. Fortunately for fans of Harris's face, Caan apparently only got in approximately half a swing before ultimately being stopped by his companions. In July 2017, actor James Woods took to Twitter to rail against a photograph of two parents and their cute kid. In the image, both parents hold signs emblazoned with messages like, "I love my gender-creative son," and "My son wears dresses and makeup, get over it." Woods, for one, didn't get over it. Far from it, in fact, as he tweeted, "This is sweet. Wait until this poor kid grows up, realises what you've done, and stuffs both of you dismembered into a freezer in the garage." Neil Patrick Harris was quick to voice his outrage by tweeting, "Utterly ignorant and classless, Mr. Woods. I'm friends with this family. You know not of what you speak, and should be ashamed of yourself." Woods made the matter infinitely worse by firing back. Using one's child as a social justice propaganda doll is tantamount to child abuse. This is not about homophobia. Nice try, though. It didn't look like these two were going to see eye to eye anytime soon, as Woods kept on going with another tweet. "I have more gay friends than Liberace, so let's stop the homophobia train." A particularly controversial subtweet happened during the 2018 Tony Awards while Rachel Bloom was busy behind the scenes interviewing bigwigs and industry players. That was when Neil Patrick Harris was apparently live tweeting his every passing thought, and he clearly didn't recognise Bloom. As he put it, "Who is the woman in the top hat backstage at the Tony Awards? My son Gideon remarked that she says like and oh my god a lot. I'm confused." When Bloom eventually saw that tweet, it clearly didn't sit well with her. Awkwardness ensued as she replied, "I'm a big fan of yours. We've met numerous times, and my husband, Dan Gregor, wrote for How I Met Your Mother for 5 years. Notably, he wrote the episode where your character finally meets his father." In an interview with GQ, Bloom admitted that she was, quote, kind of devastated by Harris's tweet. She confessed that she was tempted to reply, "This makes me sad." Instead, she decided to make a rather passive-aggressive dig at Harris's sense of humour by saying, "Look, he's not a writer, so his version of a Twitter joke is to just kind of live comment to Twitter followers with kind of random, unformed thoughts. And fame does that to you, where you think every kind of random, unformed thought is a gem because you get 10,000 likes from it." For his part, Harris did apologise, tweeting that he should have known better.
Got it, okay.
Bloom accepted, but now we're wondering if Harris is still stuck in his fame bubble. In 2008, Harris managed to raise the ire of filmmaker Kevin Smith by going after his Jay and Silent Bob co-star Jason Mewes. While promoting Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, Harris suggested that Mewes wasn't much in the way of an actor, telling Ain't It Cool News that he was basically just, quote, "this drugged-out mess of a guy." Needless to say, Smith didn't appreciate that sentiment one bit, though it took him a couple of years to make his feelings publicly known. In 2010, he tweeted, "Why say something like that? Dude essentially said Mewes isn't an actor." Smith also accused Harris of displaying baffling ignorance and calling his comment a, quote, "narrow-minded, ignorantly reductive statement." Harris evidently ultimately agreed, as he later apologised to Smith by tweeting, "Didn't realise the upset my words caused. Looked back at what you said and I concur. Ignorance on my part. Apologies." Smith accepted the apology by writing, "Classy, sir. Appreciate it. I'm sure @J Mewes appreciates it too. Doogie would write something learned about this in his diary. Thanks." During a 2011 production of the musical Company, relations between Harris and his co-star Patti LuPone reportedly took a turn for the snarly. Harris had been cast in the pivotal role of Bobby. But he'd been so bogged down with his regular gig on How I Met Your Mother that he hadn't memorized his lines in time for the first rehearsal. Lapone reportedly watched Harris fumble through a scene. She then complimented a couple of their co-stars, then treated Harris to her frostiest glare and told him, quote, "You're getting there," before sauntering away meaningfully. Harris reportedly lost it and stewed in silent turmoil for a solid half hour. When Lapone finally asked Harris what ailed him so, he lashed out at her by saying, "I'm failing at this at every turn, and you're telling everyone else they're awesome, and you're saying I'll get there. It's not helpful, it's not funny." Lapone wasn't going to let him get away with that response, as she reportedly snapped back, "Oh no, this is on you. Don't put this on me. This is your thing." Then, according to Harris, she called him, quote, "a colourful variety of Anglo-Saxon words," and then grabbed her script and stormed off.
"I've got the best Jews from Harvard and Yale ready to squash you like a bug."
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favourite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.